Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and today we're going to talk about some communities that are close to Calgary. So, if you're considering a move to the city of Calgary, but you're not sure if you want to live in that community, I've got some great bedroom communities that I'm going to introduce you to today. But before we do that, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then guys, just hit that subscribe button and click that little bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now I have to tell you, I've lived in 5 major centers in my lifetime, 5 major cities in my adult life. But you know what? Calgary's stuck, and I've lived here since 2001. Can you believe it? And because of that, and because of the fact that I've been a real estate agent here since 2010, all this means I have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of these bedroom communities, and you would like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, an email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. Okay guys, let's do this. Let's talk about these bedroom communities that are close to Calgary right after this. Hey guys, I get it. Maybe you're moving from a smaller center and you're coming to the city of Calgary and you're a little hesitant because it's so much larger than what you're used to. Even though I preach that, Calgary is a big city with a small town feel, the good news is that there are some actual smaller communities surrounding Calgary that might be a good option for you and your family. So today I'm going to take you on a little bit of a map tour showing you where these communities are located and how you can best navigate the city of Calgary to get you to where you go if you happen to work in the city. I'll even tell you a little bit about these communities moving forward. So our first bedroom community we're going to talk about today is the city of Airdrie. Now, the city of Airdrie is located about 27 kilometers to the north of Calgary, and the population there is roughly 85,000 people. Now, this is one of the fastest growing communities in all of Canada, and it is also known as the city in Canada with the highest elevation of any other city in the country. So that's kind of interesting too. So stay tuned. Let me take you on a tour of this railway town and show you how you can navigate the city of Calgary if you choose to live in this bedroom community. So let's talk about Airdrie. So here's the city of Calgary right here, and Airdrie is way up here. Just to the north, it's up the QE2 highway, so it's Deerfoot Trail, which is Alberta's busiest freeway, turns into the Queen Elizabeth II highway, going up to Edmonton, goes through Airdrie. That is the easiest way for me to explain to get to Airdrie from Calgary and vice versa. But let's just take a quick look at Airdrie. So, as mentioned before, roughly 80,000 people here. I think it's 85,000 predicted for 2024. And this is the community here. So you can see the highway splits it. Now, if you want to talk about where the expensive real estate is here, now I have to tell you, similarly, Airdrie is similar prices to Calgary, maybe a little less expensive than Calgary, but still a very popular area to live. And probably some of the more expensive areas are, I would say, probably in this Bayside area here, all in here. And hang on here, guys, just move up a little bit here and into these up here. These sagewood canals, that sort of thing. And the reason why is, if you notice, there's all these canals going through here. So that's what's popular here. These are some more expensive real estate. Now, if you want to be closer to the shopping, that sort of thing, Cooper's Crossing down here in the south is the recommendation, probably in this area. And you can see that, there's all sorts of shopping area over here. Now there's shopping throughout, but this is close to some of the bigger box stuff that's in the area. And you know what? There's really no terrible area in Airdrie to live. It's a good city. So whether you're on this side of the highway on the east side or on this side over here, it just depends. There are amenities over here, just like on the west side of the highway. And there's lots of schools, that sort of thing. And just of note, if your kids play football, Airdrie has a really good football program going on there. They always show up to play, those guys. All right. So now we're just going to take a look at how to get into Calgary. Now, something of note here is this Crossiron Mills down here. Um, this is that major shopping area. If you've seen any other of my videos, I did a map video talking about the city of Calgary, some of the shopping areas. Crossiron Mills is very popular out by Balzac on your way into Calgary. So if you're looking for a world-class shopping center, this is it. Really, Crossiron Mills kind of reminds me of a Vegas style shopping mall if you've ever been. So that's kind of cool. So let's talk about getting into Calgary. So let's just, for reference, show where the downtown is in Calgary, and it's right over here. Now, just pan back out here. So, of course, the easiest way to come into town is going to be this Highway 1 and then connecting with Deerfoot Trail. So this is one way. Now, just a word of warning here. This is a well-used freeway. Again, I already alluded to the fact that Deerfoot Trail is the busiest freeway in all of Alberta. So if it's rush hour, it can get quite boggy, bumper to bumper, moving slowly. If there's an accident, even worse. Okay. But the good news is there are options. So I mean, there are offshoots to get over to this ring road over here. Let's just look at the ring road before we move any further. So a few ways to get to downtown. You can. I'm just gonna move out just a little bit more here, guys. All right. So this ring road is Stony Trail, and it goes all the way around the city. And so if you need to get north south quickly, and you're maybe not interested in taking Deerfoot Trail, or maybe there's an accident. Whether you take Deerfoot Trail or not, it's neither good nor bad. If there's no accidents, that sort of thing. But Stony Trail is another great option because it goes all the way around the city. So if there's an accident here, there's lots of ways to come across. You can come across on McKnight, you know, and connect to Deerfoot or vice versa. This is the Trans-Canada Highway here. So depending where you're going in. Now, if you're going into downtown, there's a couple ways you can come through the Trans-Canada. Although this is a lot of stop and go traffic because this does go through the middle of town, and it does get boggy sometimes with the stop and go traffic. A lot of commuters will avoid it, but there is a way to go here. So you could come in and come into Center Street, and go through Chinatown and into the downtown core. Sometimes if there's lots of accidents and stuff going on, Edmonton Trail gets some use as well. And then you come in this way. Another way you can come is, let's take a look. All right. Now, I'll show you the way I would go. Normally, I would go Deerfoot Trail, probably. And then I would be coming in on this Memorial Drive and then coming into the downtown that way. So that's probably one of the most popular ways to come into town. Now, not everybody works in downtown, right? So, what are the other areas or how can we get to some of the other areas? Well, as expressed, you can take this ring road is probably the best way if you're going, to this northwest or north area of town, depending where you work. There's also, this Crowchild Trail here, which is Highway 1A that comes down into the city as well. Now, I'm not recommending this to go into downtown from over here unless there's a lot of accidents and that sort of thing. But I'm just saying that, if you work in these areas, this is a good way to go as well. Let's see here. If you're going to the southeast, down in this section here, of course, Deerfoot or Stony Trail are going to be great options for you. And another major east-west connector from
either of these roads is going to be Glenmore Trail. So Glenmore Trail is a great roadway to use as well, and it moves. So um, you got to be on your toes. Now, there's some industrial stuff over here as well. Um, in these areas as well. So maybe you work in some of the industrial sort of industries. That would be good to get into town. This way, if you work over in the southwest area and you're coming from up here in Airdrie, you could come down Deerfoot or Stony, and then I'll show you another way that you come. So you could come all the way around, and then you could come up uh, this McLeod Trail right here because this goes to the center of town too. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to get into these areas, now another way that's really popular if you're coming off Deerfoot Trail is taking Anderson, and Anderson gets you. You can see is a great connector to get you where you need to go. So if you work in any of these areas over here, um, those are probably the best ways to get you to where you need to go. Now, something of note would be the Calgary International Airport because you might travel for work. So this is it right here. Takes up a big mass, of course. So the best way is coming down Deerfoot Trail, getting onto this airport trail, and then there you go, boom, and you are at the terminal. So this is probably the fastest way. And if you do travel for work, living in Airdrie is pretty easy to get to the terminal. I know people that live in Airdrie that do a fair bit of traveling, and so they appreciate having that as well. Now, some other areas, if you want to get to the mountains, again, you can come on down this stony trail going east, pardon me, going west. Don't know my directions today. And you could connect with the number one highway. And I would say this is the easiest way to go. And then boom, you're heading out to the mountains. Another way you can come is, or another great trip if you're in Airdrie and you want to go is you could take this 1A and go through Cochrane, and then you could either come down to Highway 22, or there's kind of this scenic 1A route that you could take too. It takes you longer, a little slower than going on Highway number 1, but nonetheless, a beautiful drive as well. And so this would get you all the way to you get to roughly Canmore, which is a great spot to go, and then you would take the number 1 all the way to Banff. So certainly a few options for getting around, that sort of thing. So hopefully that explains a little bit about Airdrie and kind of the best ways for you to get around the city of Calgary if you want to live in Airdrie, and work in Calgary. You've got some great options to get around.
For our next bedroom community, we're going to talk about Chestermere, located about 24 kilometers to the east of Calgary. Now, this is a community of roughly 30,000 people, and it's popular because of its lake, Chestermere Lake. Now, why is it popular? Well, lots of people go out there just to go boating, wakeboarding, fishing, or just to hang out and sun on the beach, go for a picnic, that sort of thing. But the people of Chestermere, hey, it's right in their backyard. Now, this also happens to be the home of the Calgary Yacht Club. Stay tuned, let's take you on a tour of Chestermere right now.
All right, so now we're going to check out the community of Chestermere, and Chestermere here is to the east of Calgary right here. And as I mentioned before, it's around 24 kilometers from Calgary. It's about a 15 to 20-minute drive. Actually, you know what? From my house in the inner city, I can get to Chestermere in that time quite easily. So it's a pretty easy commute that way. So let's just zoom in on Chestermere a little bit. Um, the big draw here, of course, as I alluded to, is Chestermere Lake here. So that's why people really like to move here. That's one of the major draws. It's nice close to Calgary. Now, affordability speaking, It's not really a whole lot less expensive than Calgary, unless you're looking at condos. Condos are a little bit better than Calgary, but detached homes are not going to be a whole lot less expensive, and that's because some of the lots are a little bit bigger, and some of the houses here are a little bit bigger too. So keep that in mind as well. And you know what, the whole area is pretty great. So you really can't go wrong. It's just about finding a great home that works for you and your family in this growing community. So let's get into how to get around. So, couple ways you can go to get into Calgary. The first one's pretty obvious here. So we have this roadway here, Chestermere Boulevard, that goes through pretty much the center of town, and you can get on the Trans Canada Highway. So this is one of the most popular ways, if you will, to go into Calgary is to take the Trans Canada in, which turns into 16th Avenue. And then depending where you're going or where you work, you've got options right here to figure out where you need to go. Now, another way, depending what you're looking for or where you're going, is to take this 17th Avenue Southeast way in. And then again, same thing, you got options, right? So depending on traffic, that sort of thing. One thing I will note before we move away from Chestermere is when I'm I had some relatives that lived out here and we'd go visit them often. Rather than taking the number one and going into the middle of town, we'd leave that way. But when we were coming into Calgary, we would come down this Paradise Road. Now, just a note, this is radar patrolled. Um, there are speed limits here, so you got to go slower, pay attention, and come in this way. I don't recommend going out this way to Calgary because the intersection here is it's dangerous. It's there's this curve. You got to cross traffic. In fact, I'm not even sure if you can go across there anymore. But coming in, this is a good way to go in if you're coming in or this way. It really depends on where you are in Calgary, right? I mean in Chestermere. If you live over in the Cove or on this side, then obviously coming in from 16th Avenue or the Trans Canada is going to be the best way for you. But you have a few options. So let's pan back here and just take a look. So you can come in via the 17th Avenue, hit Deerfoot Trail. Now, Deerfoot Trail is again one of our busiest freeways, well, the busiest freeway in Alberta. But it's a good northwest connector depending where you work and whether you come in from the Trans Canada Highway or from the 17th Avenue, you can get onto this stony trail. So let's just pan back here and take a look. So, whoop, the wrong tool there, guys. Pardon me. All right. So again, this stony trail goes all the way around the city. Zoom, 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 and you've got options, right? So you can get on Stony Trail if you're working down here uh, in the south. Um, probably the fastest way if you're in the deep south, or even if you're going over to the southwest, is I would say probably Stony Trail, just all the way, just zoom, 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 and then you can take this McLeod Trail going up. This is stop and go traffic here. And by the way, over here, this is like downtown in this region here. But, and I'm not saying come into downtown this way, but I'm saying if you work down in the Southwest District, that might be a good way to go. Another good way to go might be to come down if you work, say, over in this more west area, is to come down Stony Trail and then take uh, Glenmore Trail, which is Highway 8. And again, this is a great east-west connector in our city. Now, if you work over in these areas up here, again, this is a great way to go around the ring road. No lights on this ring road, guys, and it hums along at 100 kilometers an hour. So, it's quick that way, and it's great for truckers because if they want to avoid uh, the city, instead of going through the stop and go traffic, then they can. Now, speaking of stop and go traffic, here's that Highway 1 going through the center of town, which turns into 16th Avenue. And that's one way to get to where you need to go, again, depending on where you work. So let's say you do work in this downtown area here. I'm just going to pan over a little bit so we can see. So whether you're coming in on 16th Avenue or 17th Avenue, you come either of those ways. If you're coming in on, sorry guys, just trying to get the right tools here, 17th Ave, you've got all sorts of options. You can pop up Deerfoot Trail and then take Memorial Drive going in to downtown. You could even go this way and just try and get onto Blackfoot Trail and then kind of work your way over going back up, although probably not the fastest way. I would probably say this, um, coming in Glenmore might be a good way. Now, another popular way for getting into downtown, like I said, you came down this Deerfoot Trail and went Memorial. If you work in these areas too, Memorial does keep going the other way as well. So that's another option. There's 68th Street. Really depends. You kind of, there's 52nd, and this goes down into some industrial areas down here too. Pagan Trail, goes into some industrial areas. Really depends where you're working. So if you're working in this industrial area, there's lots of ways to get you to where you need to go, to get to these areas of work. Now, let's say you're working in pan back here, guys, different sector of the city. Let's say you're working up in this area, so you could come via the ring road here. Another way you could go is to, you could take the ring road and then you could cut across on something like McKnight Boulevard, right? And you could always go that way, and then all of a sudden you're connected with Deerfoot Trail going north-south. So, it's good that way because you can get to these other areas of the city quickly. Now, Deerfoot Trail again can get congested if there's an accident. Rush hour in Calgary is more like the rush 3 hours. Starting around 3:30 in the day and continuing on until at least 6 o'clock, that sort of thing. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are again, if you're working in this area of the city, say in the northwest or in the north, another way you might want to come is you might want to come around, Stony Trail all the way, and then come back down Crowchild to get into these areas, for example. And this is a road that connects all the way down. And if you're working in the southwest, well, again, the best area again will probably be that ring road, or the other way again is this Glenmore Trail. And I'm just so you can see it here, I'm just going to highlight Deerfoot Trail going all the way south. So there really are some great options. Even if you're coming from Chestermere, and again, we'll just show you something else of note, which is the Calgary International Airport. So this is it right here. Best way, again, is just probably going to be coming in that 16th Avenue, or you could come up the ring road and come across McKnight, connecting with Deerfoot, and then come across on this airport trail, which is right up here, guys. And this gets you to the terminal. So the other ways to go too, there's Barlow and there's a bridge. I'm not in love with going to the airport by the Barlow way, just because here's Barlow Trail here. There is supposed to be ways to get you there, and there's not a bridge, but a tunnel, if you will, going under the runway so you can get to where you need to go. I don't love that way. I find sometimes the way the traffic's set up there a little bit dangerous. So I would prefer to go, McKnight Way or 16th Avenue and then come up to the airport trail this way. And if depending if traffic's bad, you could always come across on um, Country Hills Boulevard, um, and then come down to the airport trail this way. So, anyways, like I said, you've got lots of options if you are living in the community of Chestermere, and it's a great bedroom community.
For our next bedroom community, we're going to go up Highway 1A, about 18 kilometers away from Calgary, to Cochrane, Alberta. Now, this is a really cool kind of western slash resort feel town. This might be the one for you. Let's check it out right now.
So now we're going to take a look at the beautiful bedroom community of Cochrane, and Cochrane is right up here, if you can see it there. And we're going to zoom in here just to take a little bit of a closer look at it, and then we'll talk about, how to get to where you need to go. Now, just going to zoom in here a bit. All right. So there are a couple ways of getting to Calgary from Cochrane, and we'll just touch on them briefly before we come back and look at a few other things. The first one is going to be this 1A road here. So this is also known as Bow Valley Trail, and it connects with Crowchild Trail in Calgary. The other way is Highway 22, which will connect you with the Trans-Canada Highway, and that is also a great way to go. Now, full disclosure, this intersection right here is they're doing some construction here because they're changing it. They're trying to make it more efficient because before there were stoplights and stop signs, and traffic during rush hour would be lined up all along this road and lined up all along this road and lined up all along this road because there's communities up here, right? And I think you get the idea, right? And lined up over here, right? So they're working on this right now. Yes, it's a bit of a mess, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain. So now before we move on, let's just take a little bit of a look at Cochrane here. So I really like Cochrane. It has a reputation for Western culture, and it's really evident as you wander through town, and especially when you kind of get to some of the quote unquote main streets, if you will, that are really popular. And uh, there's great views of the Rocky Mountains as well. It's a great destination if you're visiting for ice cream and coffee and its quaint Western themed stores. And it's known for wind sports, golfing, hiking, and other city adventures. Now, it's also such a great community that Garmin, the GPS provider, decided to make Cochrane their Canadian head office. So I think that really speaks to a little bit about Cochrane. So one way you come down is, like I said, this Bow Valley Trail when you're coming into Cochrane from Calgary or vice versa. Now this is quite a steep drop coming down. The speed limit drops going to 70 kilometers an hour and then 50 as you get closer into Cochrane proper. Um, there is a community here known as Glen Eagles. And Glen Eagles, that's because of the links of Glen Eagles right here, which is the championship golf course. And, there has been championship games played at this course that have been televised on TV, that sort of thing. And this community, it's a nice community. It's not for the faint of heart because it is built on an escarpment. Beautiful, beautiful spot. And then, going down the escarpment as well. So it's really something. So that's, just one community as you're coming into town. Now, once you get to the bottom of the hill here, you are in Cochrane property. And I'm just going to zoom in here so you can kind of see Cochrane has lots going on. I mean, they've got lots of shops and stores and, Starbucks, McDonald's, this is, this is for city, right? It's a small city. And to me, it feels like a little resort town to me. And I don't know why. I think just because the way you come into it and then all of a sudden, you come down this dramatic roadway and then boom, here you are in this little mecca with these incredible mountain views. Of course, they got lots of schools, that sort of thing. And there's lots of communities going on here. Now they're building. Just going to zoom in here, guys. So, for example, they're doing some new construction in this community here. They're also doing some new construction, you know, up in these here areas as well. Hang on here, just gotta zoom out, guys. And then, each community has its own little bit of a feel. So over here, this is the community of Sunset, and you kind of go up this roadway, almost like you're leaving, but you're not. You're still in Cochrane, and that's what I think I like about it. It's well treed out here as well, and you have this cool little community up here, kind of built up the hill as you're going up as well. So lots of great areas. Um, like I said, I really like Cochrane. I think it's got a really nice feel. In fact, I drive out there with my family um, just to go out and just to, walk around and check it out every now and again. So that's lots of fun. So let's talk about how we're getting into Calgary. Well, it really depends on where you're working in Calgary or again on traffic, right? So one way, like I said, is this one A. So you can come in and go in, and then all of a sudden you're on this Crowchild Trail. Now you have options when you get up here to this Crowchild Trail because there's the Calgary Ring Road, known as Stony Trail here as well, to get you to where you need to go. But the other way, again, like I said, to get in here is through this Highway 22, and then connect with. Sorry, guys, my nice line drawing, Patrick. That's nice and straight. And then you can, come in and connect with the city. Oh, by the way, guys, this is a cool spot. Callaway Park, really good spot. It's an amusement park here in Calgary, very popular. Good spot to get a pass if you're living in Cochrane, take the kids there. All right. So, let's say you need to get to the center of town in Calgary. So you want to get to this downtown sector here. A couple ways. Again, you can come down this way. All the way down uh, Crowchild Trail and keep coming. And then you got options here. Probably the most popular one is breaking off, coming on Bow Trail, and then depending, you could go Bow Trail in or, um, you know, pardon me, Ninth. Bow Trail comes out rather, guys, but Ninth Avenue come into downtown, and then you're into the downtown area here. Another way you come is, um, where are we here? Memorial Drive, depending where in downtown you work, because maybe you work, kind of in a different area of downtown. So maybe you're going to come across Memorial Drive and come in over here because you work down here, or perhaps you're going to come across the Center Street Bridge and through Chinatown and in to get over here, right? So, like I said, lots of different options depending where you're working. So that's one thing to think about. Now, that was from Child Trail. The other way, like I said, is 16th Avenue. So 16th Avenue uh, is the Trans-Canada Highway going east to west. Lots of stop and go traffic here, guys, because it goes through the center of town. But again, if you need to get south in a hurry, a route you might want to take would be to get on the ring road and go south because this goes all the way around Calgary. So lots of options. Now, if you work in the north, same thing. You can get on this Stony Trail. I call it the ring road, but it is Stony Trail and go up this way too. So maybe you work up here. A good way to come would be to come in and then get on and go up here. Even if you work in these areas, it's probably faster than going through the center of town. We've got this, provincial park, Nose Hill Park here right in the middle. So that kind of is a bit of a blocker. So it's a good idea to come up and around and over, right? So that's one option to go in. And again, if you're going into downtown, whether from 16th Ave or whatever, you could come in this way and then, um, you know, hop on one of these roads that we've already discussed. But probably the fastest way would be, I would think, would be to come down Crowchild Trail and then down and in. And I think that's probably the most popular spot. Now, there are some good east-west connectors if you are coming in and you need to get to somewhere else in town. So come down Stony Trail South after 16th Avenue, or coming in from this Crowchild Trail area here and coming down, and then you can get on Glenmore Trail, and Glenmore will take you across the city at a fair clip. There are a few lights here and there, but it goes at a fair clip and it'll get you across to where you need to go. So that's a good one to think about as well. And of course, there are all these offshoots, right? There's McLeod Trail that goes into center town. This is all stop and go traffic on McLeod Trail until you get way south, by the way, guys. Or maybe you need to connect with Deerfoot Trail, which is Alberta's busiest freeway, to get you to where you need to go. Maybe you're going south and you need to get somewhere else in the city, right? And again, this goes north. Now, I'll just, for demonstration purposes, where this road is, we'll just fill that in. So the Calgary International Airport, again, some people do travel for work and have to leave the city and go fly somewhere. So this is it here. And probably the fastest way to go would be I would take Stony Trail all the way along, come down Deerfoot, and then take this airport trail in, and then, as I always say, boom, you're at the terminal. Just get us a little turn around there. And then you can fly to where you need to go. But you do have lots of options from Cochrane. It is a lovely location, a lovely city, and a great option if you don't want to live in Calgary proper. Now, real estate prices in Cochrane, they're a little bit better than Calgary. Not a lot, but a little bit. And if you're buying new, if you can find new, they're fair a little bit better than Calgary as well. So that's something to think about. If you don't want to live in Calgary proper, you're considering a bedroom community, Cochrane might be the place for you.
And now we're going to go south, guys. We're going to go to Okotoks. Now, the population here is roughly around 37,500 people, and it's about 38 minutes to the downtown core of Calgary. Now, this is a place that's known for its quality of life. It's known for landmarks such as Big Rock and Sheep River, and this might be a great community for you if you want to live south of Calgary.
And the last bedroom community that we're going to look at today is the town of Okotoks. Right down here, guys. All right. So we're just going to zoom in here a little bit. We'll move up. So, man, Okotoks is a very popular place to be. And it's a bustling place. There's lots to do and see here. People that live in Okotoks absolutely love Okotoks. So you really can't go wrong. Of course, it's got its own schools and that sort of thing. Just like the other communities we've looked at today, there's lots to offer. And, as you can see there, you got lots of choice in communities here, whether, you're in Cimarron or Crystal Ridge or Drake Landing or wherever, right? Darcy Ranch, whatever. There's lots of great spots to living in Okotoks. So we're just going to talk about how you get to the city from this place. All right. So the most common one is, well, you see this Highway 2A that runs through town. So the most common one is to do that and then get on 2A and then to come up and get on Highway 2. I'll just try my best to draw a straight line here, guys. All right. And the other way, of course, is depending where you live in Okotoks, because if you live down here, obviously this is the easiest way to come in. The other way you could go, of course, is continuing up Highway 2A. So really, you've got choices, right? So neither is better or worse than the other. It just depends on what part of town you're in. Um, Now, as you're entering in from the south, you've got a few options here. So you can you can veer off or keep going here when you come into Calgary. Veering off takes you to Deerfoot Trail, and going straight will connect you with McLeod Trail. Now, again, just because Calgary has this and it's so awesome, just built a few years back or completed recently, but it's been being built for a number of years, I should say. We've got this what I call our ring road, but it's stony trail that goes all the way around the city. So you can easily connect with this roadway. No stoplights, guys. 100 kilometers an hour to go around the city. 100 kilometers an hour almost everywhere. I think there's a few spots where it drops down to 80, but not very many places. And it is a quick way to get around town. Now, of course, there's also Deerfoot Trail that runs through, another good north south connector. And this, again, depending where you're working, this might be a better option for you. Now, as I've warned in with talking about the other centers as well, the Deerfoot Trail, if there's an accident or if it's rush hour, can get really boggy. And also McLeod Trail, there's a lot of stop and go traffic. So that's something to think of. Now, again, just for reference, downtown Calgary, right here. So if you were coming in, how would you get to downtown Calgary? Well, probably the easiest way or the most expedient way in most cases, sorry guys, you're getting seasick here with me going back and forth like that, would be to come in Highway 2, which is Deerfoot Trail. Okay. And probably one of the most popular ways when people come in is going to be by connecting to Memorial Drive and coming into the downtown that way. If this is really backed up and in rough shape, sometimes we see people coming up to 16th Avenue. This is, and just for so you can see it again, that this is the another east-west connector in our city, but 16th Avenue is another option you could take in if you had to. Probably not the fastest way, but if there was, I don't know, maybe an accident or something that's throwing things off. Now, if you're working in other parts of the city, you can get on to Glenmore Trail. Maybe this is a good east-west connector that's fast, much faster than 16th Avenue, guys. Uh, and you could even move over depending where you're going and get on the Crowchild Trail. This is also a very this is a fairly quick roadway as well. 80 kilometers, 70 kilometers an hour, depending where you are on it in most cases. There are a few lights in a few spots, but not up here. They're all interchanges, that sort of thing, where you come off. And so I'm just going to draw it out so you can see uh, where it goes. All right. So let's move back here again. So again, if you're trying to get into the center of town, into Calgary, the fastest route probably going to be this Deerfoot Trail coming in across Memorial. If you work in the south here, you might want to come up McLeod Trail way, as in you're going in there, and then come across on Stony Trail this way over here and follow it into the city and come across. If you're working up here too, even if you're working up in this west or even in this northwest, that might be one of the fastest routes for you to go to get you up to these areas, right? If you're working in center of town, like I said, Deerfoot Trail. If you got to get to the airport, here's the airport right here, the Calgary International Airport, and Deerfoot Trail is probably your fastest way, and then you come in Airport Trail, and then you're at the terminal. Okay. Now, if you're working in these sectors of the city over here, depending where in these sectors, um, you might come up to Glenmore Trail from Stony Trail, or pardon me, from Stony Trail or from Deerfoot Trail, depending where in this area that you're working, right? But you have options, right? So if one roadway is bad for whatever reason, you've got the option to go the other way. And of course, if you're working up in the northeast here, I would recommend um, Stony Trail for as long as you can, unless it's kind of over in these areas here, or you're over in this north area, then you want to get across to um, Deerfoot Trail. But this, again, a popular bedroom community. Again, if you want to move to Calgary or you're going to be working in Calgary, that working in Calgary, but you're not sure you want to live in Calgary, Okotoks could be the community for you.
So like I said, guys, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of these bedroom communities and you would like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me. My information is below. Send me a text, an email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.